it went that way. Anyways, talking about Miami, bringing it up, they play Miami this Thursday, number 16th team in the country. My question is, does UNC have any chance of defeating Miami on the road?
I
David?
mean, yeah, I mean, it's just sports. I mean, any team has a chance. But Miami is going to be a very, very stiff challenge for this UNC team. Miami, they have a pretty solid defense, like the defensive things you're talking about with Pittsburgh, how they struggle to communicate. That's not going to happen this game. There's not going to be as much leeway. And Nathan Elliott, he is the starting quarterback this time. We'll see how the game goes, whether Chaz Surratt comes in or not. But pressure is going to be on Nathan Elliott a lot more than it has been usually, and he hasn't necessarily exceeded expectations until this game against Pittsburgh. I think Miami also has found their new starting quarterback in N'Kosi Perry. Malik Rozier definitely struggled the first two games of the season, and now I think Mark Richt is just going full throttle on N'Kosi Perry, and he lit up Florida International for 224 yards on 17 completions out of 25 attempts for 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. I definitely think Carolina's passing defense, what they need to focus on is making him as uncomfortable as possible. Since this is only his second game, his first game starting, I think they really need to focus on blitzes, getting him as uncomfortable in the pocket as possible, making him make a little bit rash decisions, and the run game is going to be extremely important because Antonio Williams and Michael Carter are going to be two very impactful players for this game.
Yeah, I mean, just to go on your last point, I think the run game both ways is crucial for UNC on offense. If they don't run the ball well, they have no hope because Nate Elliott isn't good enough to just, have him pass the ball every single down. He's going to get killed. So they need to come out, run the ball well, and that can set up play action to then push the ball down the field, and you'll get those wide receivers running open down the field. And then on defense, UNC gave up over 6 yards per carry last week against Pittsburgh. Miami has an impressive running attack. They already have over 800 yards rushing in just 4 games. So Miami's averaging over 200 yards on the ground. And, they almost have as many yards rushing as they do throwing. So that tells you what Miami wants to do. They want to run the football, and UNC struggled to do that last week at home, and now they have the task of trying to stop Miami, who's a better running team on the road in a short week. They're going to be a little bit less desperate because they're not going to be an 0-2 football team. And, Miami's 16th in the country on the road too. It's just going to be harder to communicate, and, once again, it's a short week that is tough to come back from, especially when it's such an emotional win that happened last Saturday, that you have to come back Sunday, recover, and then Monday be immediately focused to then play Miami. So we'll see. Is UNC going to come out focused on Thursday? I think that's another issue, and if they don't, then they're going to get gashed in the run game on both ways. And that has to be the key to the game for UNC.
Miami's rushing attack is extremely deep. They almost have a running core like an SEC team. I mean, it's not just one guy. Yeah, they have Travis Homer who ran for 114 last game, but if you look at their other games, they have multiple guys who can get 50, 60, 70 yards on you. So UNC is going to have to actually handle a team that has significant running back depth.
Yeah, and I'll say, hopefully that game will get the confidence going and flowing for UNC. Also, we'll see. Michael Carter had he didn't have a huge impact. He did score a touchdown. I think he had about like 50 total yards or something. So, it wasn't a huge impact. Maybe he'll take another step next week. So, with a few more pieces, a little bit more confidence, maybe they're going to be able to compete. I still think it's a long shot, but this game on Thursday is going to tell a lot about the UNC football team. If they come in and they get blown out, then I think what we saw week 1 and week 2 is what this UNC football team is. But also the great thing about ACC play is UNC's undefeated right now. So if they go in and beat Miami, week 1 and week 2 don't matter, and it's a great season underway. If they go out and they get blown out, then, I think 1 and 2 are what this football team is, week 1 and 2. If they play a competitive game and they just lose, well, then maybe that they can still carry that forward because they're only 1 and 1 in the ACC play. So just remember, ACC play is what matters at this point. UNC isn't competing for a national championship. They're competing for ACC victories.
We're competing for recruits, honestly.
And that's also true
because we're competing to appeal to guys that want to come to this school to prove that we can win. Also, another point is Fedor and Miami. He's definitely. I feel like he's more fired up whenever they face off against Miami. So hopefully Fedor lights a little bit of a fire under his guys to get them pushing just a little bit more for this game.
Right, and then also just going back to the recruiting point is who's UNC recruiting against? Other ACC teams. If those recruits see UNC beat those ACC teams, then that's going to get them more likely to come to UNC to play football. So let's wrap